Hello guys, you're welcome once more to my channel, and on today's tutorial people, we are going to be talking or teaching on how to embellish your dress like a professional. Give your dress that glamorous look and good look. Do you get? So I always tell people that a dress should look beautiful, not just on the outside but also on the inside. Like, you should have a good finishing. Okay, if you want to have a good finishing both on the outside and on the inside of a dress, you should stay to the end of this tutorial. And if you know anyone that's going to find this video helpful, please do not forget to share with the person. And if you're new as well, please subscribe. If you have any question, please just put it on the comment section, and I will do my best to answer as soon as possible. Okay people, now without wasting much of your time, let's get started. Happy learning. At this point, I've already finished draping my lace on top of this fabric. What I mean drape was I placed my lace material on top of the bustier part of it, and these edges, each of the edges I bent it down so that the rough edge of the lace will not be showing. I use my pin to pin it. As you can see, that is what I do. I just bent those edges in, then use pin to hold it together. Okay, now I was trying to show you what it looks like inside. Now this is a dart intake. I contoured everything by taking darts in every necessary place so there will not be any surplus lace on top of the bustier. Now this is the inside. I use my bony and every other thing just to give it a firm look at the waist part of this dress. Okay, now I took out the pin. As you can see, I was trying to smooth out that place before I use the pin on it again. That is number one thing you should do if you're draping. You should make sure that whatever you're draping on top of, that the material is smooth and flat, that there's no excess on it. Okay, that is number one thing if you're draping the material or whatever material you're using to drape or to place on top any material on the main dress as an embellishment or whatever the case might be, that it is flat and there's no surplus or excess in the material. Everything is flat. So I was just trying to show you guys here the edges, what it looks like, and it's going to look the same way after I'm done sewing this. At this point, I can actually just use a sewing machine to just sew on top of all this thing, but I just want the inside to look as beautiful as the outside. Okay, like I said, it's just to make the inside and the outside look beautiful together. And now look at these edges. You're going to see what it's going to look like by the time I'm done with this dress. Now these are the materials I use. The beads, I use my glass beads and crystal beads. No, the crystal bead usually comes in wired form, except you're buying the full pack. My thread, either invisible or normal sewing thread, scissors and needle. So my needle, I use size 11 of beading needle because of the bead I use. Now this glass and pipe like beads, the holes are pretty small. Most of them are pretty small, so if I use a size 12, it might not enter through all the whole beads. Okay, now first thing first, I took out the needle at this edge so that I'm going to secure my thread to my fabric. You must have already made a knot on your thread. Okay, I'm trying to secure the thread. Yeah, first thing first, you must secure your thread to it. I just pushed aside the lace so that I'm going to secure the thread to the main fabric, like to the main dress, not on the lace, so that the lace is going to cover that edge whereby I'm starting the whole knot and everything. The thread knot is going to be, then I'm going to take it out of it. Now what I'm going to do next is that, okay, I enjoyed myself there. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to pinch the fabric with, like you can see me do, the fabric, the lace, the main fabric, but the needle is not going to show on my line. It's like you pinching it and using your other finger to feel and make sure that the needle does not punch out of the lining, and you do it little by little. You don't have to go big. You're going to pinch it little by little, and you make sure what you're doing, so you're also tacking in those bent edges of the neck. That neckline, you're going to tack it in, like push it in so that it does not show. Now I went ahead to use my bead because I wanted this crystal bead to just be all over the dress, not all over the dress, just the upper part of the dress. Okay, the bustier part of it. So while I was doing that, I was also adding my beads as well, because it's going to be like single stitch beading. Okay, and I have videos and tutorials of how different patterns of beading. Okay, so when I say single stitch beading, go back to my previous video and then you get to understand it. I will actually put a link of that on the comment section. I hope I'm not too fast. Okay, now like you can see me doing, I'm pinching it and the threads are not showing on the lining, but then the finishing is top notch, guys. Okay, you are just pinching it and you're using your other hands to make sure that the needle is not punching on the lining. So with that, you to help you so that you don't, the thread does not show on the outside. Now some people might be saying that I'm using an invisible thread. Definitely it will not show, but at a point I stopped using the invisible thread. I made use of a normal sewing thread to continue this work, and then you're going to see that none of it was showing. Okay, now I was adding my beads bit by bit in it, and like I said earlier, is just a single stitch beading pattern I'm going to be using for this dress, where I'll be adding beads in a very not scattered, but I just clustered the whole beads like all over the dress, the upper part of the dress, not just all over the dress. Okay, now as you can see, at this point I was trying to tie what do you call it, like end this beading because of the thread was getting short. Now when the thread is short, you should not allow the thread to be too short. Okay, just allow it to just be to a length whereby you can knot it. Now if you see what I did, now I actually pushed, like how I started it, I pushed the lace out of the way, then I knot the thread, like I secure the thread again on the main dress, not on the lace, so that when I do all those things is not going to show on the dress. It's going to be inside the lace and the inside under the lace, and the lace is going to cover it up. Now I've already ended that one and I'm starting another one, but I'm also securing the thread on the main fabric, not on the lace. Then I'm going to use the needle to use the other lace, the main lace that's going to be at the layer, to cover it up. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. I just moved the lace aside, and I secure the thread on the main fabric, not on the lace. Then I'm going to continue my stitching. Okay, at this point I have done half of the dress. Okay, now look at those edges. Now I was able to do it, like I used the mouth of the lace to like do this other parts, and this side, if you look very closely, even if you look very closely, you will not even know that I added like 3-4 layers of lace over there, because I miscut the lace when I was draping at that side. Okay, but it was not showing because it was finished. Like I was making sure that everything was just in place. That was just it. And at this point I was just showing you guys how I was holding the back side of the dress so that the thread will not penetrate the line. Okay, and all those tacking was made invisible because the tacking was small. I was not taking the tacking big, and the needle is passing inside the lace and is going inside the main dress, then it's coming out again from the dress and it's coming out to the lace. So the thread are not showing. The thread are inside the main dress, not inside the lace. Okay, that is why this dress, like even putting more lace on top of the other lace, it was not visible because number one, I'm tacking it little by little. Number two, the thread is not, I'm not passing the thread in between the lace, but I'm passing the thread in between the lace. It's going to pass the lace layer, then it's go to the main fabric, to the main dress, then it's going to come out is in between the lining and the dress. Okay, I think that's a better term, in between the lining and the dress. The thread are in between the lining and dress, so the thread is not showing it's not showing under the lace. Now at this point I was actually almost done with this what they call it, the thread was tiny, so I was securing the thread on the fabric like usual. Unlike the initial time I was securing it when the thread was small, this one is not at the beginning of the distance, at the center of the dress. Now can you see what I did? I also secured the thread on it, like tying a knot twice, so that the thread and that whole stitch and tacking this thing is not going to be loosed, like you can see me do. Now what I'm going to do, so that the thread is not going to show after creating a knot, as you can see here, I was passing the needle to one of the pattern, like all those design on the lace. Now I'm going to pass it out. As you can see now, I just finished securing a knot, so now I'm cut the thread out. Now the thread is not showing that I just finished sewing at that place. Do you get? I'm sorry that video was short, but the thread was not showing at that place that I just finished. Like you can, like I'm showing now the close work. Like most of these places now, I ended the thread was finished, so I wanted to end the beading process for that thread, but it was not showing because I'm passing the thread in between those patterns, all those designs on the lace, and I cut it out now so that the thread does not lose out, and you like see, okay, this is where she cut the thread, or this is where she ended her sewing and every other thing. Now this is how it looks like. It's looking top notch. Like you won't see any thread standing out. Every thread is inside. Even when I ended the beading and when I started the beading, no thread is showing because everything is inside, people. And this is what it was looking like. I was already done beading the whole tacking and beading. Now this is the sleeve. Did fringe on the sleeve of this dress. Now I'm going to show you how I achieved this. I just showed you just with one example. Okay, now look at the mouth of this. I just ended it with this beautiful stuff at the mouth. Now I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, after securing your thread, of course, on your fabric, after securing the thread on your fabric, you're going to put in your beads in your thread. Of course, I was just securing my thread on the fabric here. You have to make sure that you're securing your thread and it is firm whenever you're doing your fringe. In fact, any beading process, you have to make sure your thread is firmly secured to the fabric. Okay, and this is the just putting the beads inside everything. Okay, now this is beaded and products are very expensive, but the beads are not really that expensive because of all this process. Now putting beads just to do this fringe was not an easy job. Okay, I think beading of this dress took me one full day for me to achieve this whole look on this dress. It took me one full day. Okay, now at this point I have already gotten to the length I desire for this fringe. I made it to be 11 inches. Okay, it was 11 inches long. Then before I'm going to add my crystal beads to it. Okay, the crystal bead is still the same crystal bead I use in the bustier part of this dress. So I'm going to go in by 3 crystal beads. This is the second one and the third one. Okay, now if you're doing your fringes with beads, you have to make sure that you do not draw the thread to be too tight, because if you draw it to be too tight, people, it is going to have this squeezed look like it's showing here. I don't know if you can see what I was trying to show you. Like it's going to look squeezed, like the whole beads are like trying to cluster together, which is not good. Now you're going to make it to be free, but not too free that you have to be seeing the space, but it's not going to be tight, like so that just to avoid the squeeze. You get my point? Okay, now I'm trying to make that small volume I did at the end of this beading. This now, after you've drawn out the bead, you're going to pass the needle from the other edge of the crystal bead, the whole 3 crystal bead, like you can see me do. I came in from this other side and I'm passing the bead back to the starting of the first crystal beads, not the fringe one, but not the pipe bead, but the other one. Okay, as you can see me do. Now I'm just going to draw it, making sure that the fringe is not squeezing. Do you see like what it's looking like now? Now it has already formed that small triangle shape, as you can see now. Did you see it? It's showing the triangle shape. I've already achieved this triangle shape. Now what you're going to do next is that you're going to pass the needle from where the thread is coming out from the last crystal bead. You're going to pass the needle to the next crystal bead. Then you're going to go over again to the other crystal bead, like I'm doing so. You're going to take it to the next crystal bead, and then you're going to take it to the next one. Now this is the way the last crystal bead. Okay, now here you're going to create a knot. Now the knot you're going to create is that space in between those 2 beads. Now I'm just trying to make sure that the fringes were not squeezing, because I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, now this place, now you're going to create a knot like those 2, the space between the 2 crystal beads. You're going to try to not try, but you're going to be creating a knot like to tight. We're not trying, we're ending this beading process. Okay, and I'm going to go over again a second time. You can go as much as you want to, but not too much, so that it does not have any bulgy thread like look over there. Now you can see I think I was okay with it at this point. Now you can just cut the thread here, but like I said, this tutorial is all about having a good and beautiful finishing. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pass the needle inside those pipe glass beads. I'm going to go in by 3, 4 or 5, or you can decide to even go down. Okay, but now I'm going to go in by 3. I think I went in by 3 or 4 beads. Sorry, it was a bit down. Okay, I think I was just trying to make sure that the bead was not squeezing. Okay, as you can see now, I took it out of the 3, I think it was the 4th bead. I brought the needle out again. Now it's looking all clean. Then I'm going to cut the thread as close as possible to the bead. Just take a look at what I'm trying to do. Now I'm going to cut it. As you can see now, the thread is not going to show. It's not going to show where I ended this process. Everything is looking clean. Now this is how you achieve a clean and a finished fringe. If you're going to use this stopper I use, this pattern of stopper I use. Now my beads are all ready. So guys, at this point I want to say thank you for staying to the end of this video. Please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't, like and share with anybody that is going to find these tips helpful. Okay, now I want to thank everyone that has been part of this family. Now this is what the inside looks like. Okay, now you can see that there's no thread on the inside, guys. The inside is looking as beautiful as the outside. Look at the edges I was trying to show you guys. I really did not give justice to that, but the edges of the neckline was looking beautiful and everything. Thank you once more and remain super blessed until my next video. Bye.